By the end of this module, you will be able to explain the physiological and psychological impact of stress on individuals and organizations, define the concept of workplace stressors and identify common causes of workplace stressors, and recognize the relationship between workplace stressors and job performance.
Welcome to Mastering Stress Management, Breathe and Move Your Stress Away course, where we will embark on a transformative journey to understand stress, its impact on our health and performance, and practical techniques to manage it effectively. In Module 1, our primary goal is to gain a comprehensive understanding of stress and its influence on our well-being. By the end of this module, you will be able to explain the physiological and psychological impact of stress on individuals and organizations. Define the concept of workplace stressors. Analyze the relationship between workplace stressors and job performance. Stress is a natural response to the demands of life. But when it becomes overwhelming and unmanaged, it can have profound effects on our mental and physical health. Stress is a prevalent issue in today's fast-paced world. Over 75% of adults experience moderate to high levels of stress on a daily basis. Stress doesn't just affect our mental state, it also takes a toll on our physical health. Prolonged stress can increase the risk of conditions like high blood pressure, heart disease, and gastrointestinal problems, just to name a few. Chronic stress has been linked to a 60% increased risk of major health issues. Stress can also have a significant impact on our mental well-being. It can contribute to feelings of anxiety, depression, and overwhelm, making it difficult to focus, sleep, and enjoy life to the fullest. One major source of stress for many of us is the workplace, with work-related stress accounting for more than 50% of all stress experienced by individuals. Workload, tight deadlines, conflicts, and high expectations can create a pressure cooker environment that affects our stress levels. It's crucial to understand how stress impacts our job performance. When stress levels rise, our productivity, decision-making, and creativity can suffer. Long-term exposure to stress can even lead to burnout, hindering our professional growth. Understanding work-related stressors and their impact on our health and performance is the first step toward taking control of our well-being in the workplace. Continue the course to further explore the impacts of workplace stress on health and performance.
welcome to the podcast. Today's episode is a companion to the linked infographic, The Physiological and Psychological Impact of Stress. I highly recommend you taking a moment to download it if you haven't already. Today, we will be exploring the physiological and psychological impact of stress and gain a deeper understanding of what stress is and where it comes from. So let's go ahead and dive right in. To begin, let's define what stress is. Stress is a natural response that occurs when we face challenges, demands, or threats in our environment. It triggers a series of physiological and psychological changes in our body and minds. During a stressful event, your body releases chemicals called hormones, such as adrenaline. Adrenaline gives you that burst of energy that helps you cope and respond to stress. For example, one kind of stress is that jolt you may feel when a car pulls out in front of you. This jolt of adrenaline helps you quickly hit the brakes to avoid that accident. This stress response is your body's way of protecting you. But in modern society, we don't only feel stress when we are in danger. Stress can arise from various sources, and people feel stress from many different things. Some examples of stressful events that you may experience on a daily basis are getting stuck in traffic or missing the bus, having an argument with your partner or spouse, or a deadline at work. Stress is an inherent part of our lives, and how we perceive and respond to it plays a crucial role in our well-being. The physiological impact of stress. When we experience stress, our body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which prepares us for a fight or flight response. This response increases our heart rate, elevates our blood pressure, and boosts the release of glucose for energy. Our bodies are well equipped to handle stress in small doses. But when that stress becomes long-term or chronic, it could seriously affect our bodies. Prolonged exposure to stress can have adverse effects on our health. Stress symptoms may be affecting your health even though you might not realize it. You may think an illness is to blame for that irritating headache, your frequent insomnia, or your decreased productivity at work. But stress can actually be the cause of it because it can make you sick. Some other physiological impacts of stress to be aware of are fatigue, poor sleep, headaches, heart palpitations, abdominal pain, muscle pain, and a weakened immune system. A U.S. national study reported that 60 to 80% of doctors' visits may have a stress-related component. That's the majority. Stress has also been linked to a higher risk for disease such as cardiovascular disease and certain types of cancer. The psychological impact of stress. Stress doesn't just affect us physically. It also has a profound impact on our mental well-being. Chronic stress can lead to feelings of anxiety, irritability, and difficulty concentrating. It can also contribute to the development of mental health conditions such as depression. Additionally, because of the way stress impacts our sleep, making it harder to get restorative sleep and leading to further mental and emotional strain. Consider a dedicated employee who experiences chronic stress due to a toxic work environment. Their stress level gradually leads to feelings of anxiety and worthlessness. Over time, their mental well-being deteriorates, affecting their ability to perform optimally and leading to a decline in job satisfaction, which eventually leads them to quit. This example highlights the psychological toll that stress can take on individuals, as well as potential repercussions for organizations in terms of decreased employee morale and engagement. Differences in stress response. It is important to note that stress can affect men and women differently. Studies show that women are more likely than men to experience symptoms of stress. Women who are stressed are more likely than men who are stressed to experience depression and anxiety. Experts do not fully know the reason for the difference, but it may be related to how men and women's bodies process stress hormones. Long-term stress especially is more likely to cause problems with moods and anxiety in women. Research suggests that women may experience stress more intensely due to various factors, including hormone fluctuation and societal expectations. For instance, women often face the challenge of balancing multiple roles, such as being the caregiver and also having the professional demands. This can lead to heightened levels of stress. On the other hand, men may exhibit different stress responses. They may be more prone to internalizing stress, experiencing symptoms such as irritability, anger, or withdrawal. Societal norms often discourage men from openly expressing their stress, which can further impact their psychological well-being. Throughout this course, we recognize the importance of addressing differences in stress responses and management. Noting these differences is important for recognizing the stress symptoms in yourself. Stress appears differently in everyone. For me, for example, stress first affects my stomach and my sleep. I started having difficulty going to sleep and staying asleep and trouble eating. If I let this go on, it will eventually progress into me getting sick. I feel as if my body is trying to turn me off so I can get some rest. Because I'm aware of my stress symptoms, I'm able to intervene before my body gets to the point of shutting down mode. Which is why it's important to identify what those signs and symptoms look like in your body. Coping with stress. Recognizing the impact of stress is the first step towards effectively managing it. Through this course, we will explore breathing exercises, movement practices, and stress reduction strategies that have shown positive outcomes in reducing stress levels and improving job performance. Thank you for joining us in this podcast episode on the physiological and psychological impact of stress. Remember, stress is a natural part of life, but it's essential to recognize its effects and develop healthy coping mechanisms. Continue in the course to delve deeper into understanding workplace stressors and their impact on job performance. Mental and emotional symptoms of stress can include anxiety and restlessness, decreased ability to concentrate, mood swings, change in appetite, sleep disturbances, fatigue and exhaustion. Physical symptoms of stress can include headaches and migraines, muscle tension and body aches, digestive issues, sweaty or cold clammy hands, weakened immune system, skin problems, rapid heartbeat or palpitation.
Hey Laura, I know you've been working on Project Phoenix. How's that going?
Honestly, I've barely had time to work on it. I've been assigned 3 other projects without the support I need, plus I'm spending the entire day responding to emails. I barely had time to eat or even leave my desk. And on top of all of that, now I'm not feeling so well.
I've experienced this before, and something that helped was stress management practices. Have you heard of workplace stressors before?
I think so.
Workplace stressors refer to specific factors or conditions in the work environment that can cause stress for individuals. Did you know that?
I didn't, but it makes sense. What are some common causes of workplace stressors?
Some common causes are the workload, feeling overwhelmed by excessive work demands and tight deadlines, lack of control, having limited decision-making power or autonomy in work-related matters, poor communication, ineffective or unclear communication channels, and interpersonal conflict, difficult relationships with colleagues, conflicts, or bullying behaviors.
I've experienced all of those before. Is it important to recognize these causes?
Absolutely. Recognizing these causes is crucial for effectively managing stress in the workplace because it allows you to address the root causes and implement strategies to mitigate its impact.
That makes sense. How can we identify workplace stressors?
One way is to reflect on your own work environment and see if you can identify any workplace stressors you have personally experienced.
Pause the video and take a moment to reflect on your own work environment. Can you identify any workplace stressors you have personally experienced?
I can identify a few I'm experiencing right now. How much are these factors impacting me?
We can use a self-assessment tool and rate our work-related stress level to identify how much of our stress is directly related to work.
I see. Once we have assessed our stress level, we can better understand the impact of workplace stressors on our well-being.
Exactly. Understanding workplace stressors is an important step towards managing stress effectively and creating a healthier and more productive work environment for ourselves and our colleagues.
Continue the course to take the workplace stress self-assessment.
Five tips to manage your expectations and workload. Click through the following cards to explore 5 tips for reducing stress by better managing expectations and workload. Audit your to-do list. The following are best practices for auditing your workload and prioritizing tasks. Assess urgency and importance. Categorize tasks based on priority. Consider task dependencies. Delegate or outsource non-core tasks. Eliminate or postpone non-essential tasks. Use productivity tools. Regularly review and adjust priorities. Practice saying no. Recognize and communicate your workload limits. This step requires asserting your boundaries by learning to say no when your plate is already full. Some examples of how to do that. I appreciate the opportunity, but I'm currently working on a project with a tight deadline. Is there any possibility of shifting this task to someone else? I'm currently fully committed to my current projects. Is there a specific reason why this task needs to be added to my workload right now? Avoid multitasking. When individuals attempt to juggle multiple tasks simultaneously, they often experience increased stress levels due to the cognitive overload and constant switching of attention. This can lead to decreased focus, increased errors, and heightened frustration. Multitasking impairs overall efficiency. Research shows that it takes longer to complete tasks when multitasking compared to focusing on one task at a time. The constant context switching and mental load associated with multitasking can disrupt workflow, hinder problem-solving abilities, and reduce overall efficiency in task completion. Prioritizing tasks and focusing on one task at a time is crucial for minimizing these negative effects. Set realistic goals and expectations. Set realistic goals and avoid overcommitting yourself. Tips for accurately estimating the time required to complete tasks. Break down tasks into smaller, manageable subtasks to better estimate time requirements. Consider any potential challenges or dependencies that may affect task completion. Consult previous experiences to gauge the time needed for similar tasks. Ask for support. Asking for support is crucial when you feel overwhelmed or overloaded. It helps in preventing burnout, fostering teamwork, and maintaining overall well-being. By reaching out for help, you can access resources, guidance, and collaboration opportunities that can lead to better problem solving, stress management, and improved job satisfaction. In summary, by implementing these best practices, you can optimize your workload to overall reduce stress levels by focusing on high priority tasks and effectively managing your time and resources.